Thank you very much, Kim. And on this hottest day of the summer, before we do anything else, let's check outside with Chrissy.
Afternoon.
Yeah, hence the heat warning, very widespread, including the city of Toronto, down to Guelph and Cambridge and Kitchener-Waterloo. It will literally be feeling between 40 and 45 for most of us in southern Ontario through the day today. And as Chrissy mentioned, once that cold front swings through, we do have a widespread risk for thunderstorms. So it's hot and humid. You get this cold front coming through, the two air masses collide, and you get the perfect recipe for thunderstorms, and they could be severe. It looks like after 2 p.m. is when things are really going to start firing up. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about how temperatures cool down after that coming up. Also coming up in our next segment. If you are thinking, oh, feeling like 40 is awesome, I want to take this weather and I want to go up to my cottage for the long weekend, it's a one-day kind of event. We'll talk about the long-range forecast coming up. First, let's check in with Mike in Barrie. Mike, at least with our last blast of summer at Pearson Airport, we will be hitting 30 degrees today for the first time, because we haven't done it in July or August, so the first time since June. As Mike was mentioning, it's going to be humid, feeling like 40 to 45 for most of southern Ontario. This heat warning will likely stay in place all day, and then comes that cold front. That will provide the risk for thunderstorms. Behind the cold front, temperatures are going to be so much cooler. Take this afternoon. By tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be feeling 20 degrees colder. Science behind the weather is coming up next. Okay, it's time now, after you've seen that top 5 list, to focus in on our forecast here in southern Ontario. And before I break down the heat today and the cooler temperatures through the rest of the week into the long weekend, let's check in with Chrissy.
Okay.
I know, we're all getting excited. Yay, summer's just beginning. Oh, it lasts for about 24 hours. So let's break down the next 24 hours, shall we? This afternoon, getting up to 31 degrees. We will hit 30 degrees in Toronto for the first time since June, and it will be feeling like the low 40s. Risk for thunderstorms today and this evening, and of course, cooler temperatures behind that cold front. So here's the heat warning that Chrissy was talking about. Most of southern Ontario, from Windsor to Toronto to Cottage Country, feeling anywhere from 40 to 45. It is going to be that oppressively humid out there. And again, that cold front swings through, the warm air mass collides with the cold air mass, and you get the perfect recipe for thunderstorms after the 2 p.m. hour into the late afternoon, early evening. That's when we're seeing our best chance for the active weather and potentially severe thunderstorms. But there you go, there's that cold front, and then behind it, what's left? Temperatures in the low 20s. It is going to feel 20 degrees colder tomorrow. We'll be back into the low 20s for temperatures. But high pressure moves into place. Not a bad start to the long weekend. Oh, wait, Friday, showers. We'll talk more about that coming up in our next segment. Thanks, Kim. And let me just throw this out there. The computer models are not agreeing on our long-range forecast for the long weekend, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But first, with more on the heat today, here's Chrissy.
Is going to ruin it for sure.
I feel you, Chrissy. As I step outside, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Heat warnings, as Chrissy mentioned, in place, including the city of Toronto. They'll be dropped later tonight once the cold front swings through and cools us down. There's our risk for thunderstorms. It's hot, it's humid, a cold front swings through. You get that recipe for thunderstorms and potentially severe cells. As I mentioned, though, in the long-range forecast, the computer models are just not agreeing, but it is going to be cooler for the weekend. We'll be right back with more details, and in our next segment, our top 5 videos.
And scenes out that are like, however, some of her scenes are as idyllic as that, and others, they're storms that I could never conceive of.
And she braves them, and she
Every
goes out
single one of
there.
them.
And so thank you, Beverly. And by the way, if you have a video you want to send in, upload them to our website, theweathernetwork.com. Beverly's going to enjoy today. It's a nice mild day right across Atlantic Canada.
Mild and humidity. Now, let's take a look at this. At some point, too much of a good thing? Too much of a good thing.
Humidity.
Yeah, it's like an opening act at the Emmys. At one point, enough is enough. Let's move on with the show. 39 humidity. Expect thunderstorms to start creeping into that picture, and that's where this, of course, comes from.
Yeah, and even then, I don't think I would be exerting myself. It actually becomes quite dangerous. In the morning, it's okay,
Of course,
but this afternoon, I'm hoping you're not trying to, get those extra miles in, working up for that marathon.
Well, we always try to tell people, limit it to the end, to late in the day. Like, for instance, it's going to feel like 43 at the peak in London, 44 in Windsor, 40 in yikes, 40 in Toronto, 40, and so on and so forth. But the darkness is coming so much sooner. I was out last night, thought it was 9 o'clock. Surprised to find out it was only 8:30.
So what happens? Like thunderstorms.
Isolated severe thunderstorms. There goes the cold front. Here's your afternoon and your evening. But I guess if there is a postscript to this, it's the air that comes in behind the cold front, and that's going to be completely different.
Do you not like humidity? Is that why you're saying that?
I love humidity, but when it gets into the 40s, it hurts.
It does.
So and I like balance. We've known each other long enough to know You've known us long enough. Balance is good. That's why we like the Four Seasons.
Yes, and we joked about this morning. That's why we like the Four Seasons.
This is
yes.
a good band, too.
I thought you were making a music reference. Tomorrow in Toronto, if you were to step out of your door today, this afternoon, and then tomorrow, it's going to feel 20 degrees colder.
And with that, when you have a clash like that, big storms can come up. Hurricane week continues.